Are breast cancer and obesity related to the light that you turn on at night in your home? In fact, the answer I'm going to give it to you right now is yes. There was a study done in 2017, published, peer-reviewed study. It was published in the Journal of Basic Clinical Physiology Pharmacology. Try to say that really quickly. Around ALAN, A-L-A-N, artificial light at night, A-L-A-N. So ALAN is the term for artificial light at night, and it was termed in a lot of scientific literature, including the National Institute of Health, our own US government, as a disruptor of circadian rhythm and a destructor of melatonin after dark. So yes, I'm back in my car again. So I'm either going to do these as walk and talks in my car. I had to drop my son off at a Scouts merit badge meeting 49 minutes from my house. So if I were to drop him off and drive home and then drive back and drive him back, that's 3+ hours out of my day spent in the car driving. So instead, I parked in front of this lake and a hiking trail that goes on for tens of miles so that I could do some videos, do a little bit of work. I have a presentation coming up at Hack Your Health here. It's almost the middle of November, and I'll be presenting on stage at Hack Your Health at the end of November. But there's a hiking trail here, so I can go for a long walk. I can also read, and I can do my work in the car. Could go to a coffee shop, but there's like not great coffee shops here in this town. I think there's a Caribou. I prefer not to go to chain coffee shops if at all possible. So I'm stuck in my car, and you get to see me change my hat while I do videos. So aren't you lucky? There's this connection that even the National Institute of Health, and I don't know why all of this kind of congregated around the year 2017. Maybe somebody can look into that. But between like 2016 and 2017, there was a National Institute of Health symposium that I was invited to, which was great. I didn't get to go, but I got to watch it online, all around artificial light at night and its disruption of melatonin and circadian rhythm, leading to breast cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. So all of these things have been well studied and well known, but a lot of the studies came out in the 2016-2017 time period. It's also when the NIH had their symposium, and it is when the American Medical Association, so most of us discount mainstream medical advice and news because it's really pill forward. It's focused on alleviating symptoms and not the underlying problems, although it does great with emergency medicine. It really doesn't do great with long-term health and also prevention. However, in 2016, again, 2016, 2017, the American Medical Association had I'm going to look up the name, a resolution, because I want to make sure I said it right, not just a published paper, which they did, not just a warning letter, which is also public, you can still find it today, but an American Medical Association resolution that artificial light exposure at night is a pollutant to us men and women because it disrupts circadian rhythm and stops the release of melatonin. So like, why would you care? Why is that a big deal? Circadian rhythm is a natural cycle, a biological cycle that's built into our biology. It's 24 hours, and it's based on the light and dark cycles of where we live on Earth. And it's responsible for things like whether we can reproduce or not. So know anybody who has infertility issues? Responsible for turning our immune system on and off. Responsible for turning hormones in our body on and off, including 10 conducted hormones after dark that get turned on and off from this release of melatonin due to seeing darkness, which is that circadian cue after the sun sets. But because we live 95% of our time indoors nowadays, and we never turn the lights out. Even in our bedrooms, it's not truly pitch dark. There's charging lights, there's the smoke alarm light, there's a night light. Who knows what other lights are on in your bedroom, including we all sleep with our phones. That's a really bright light, especially the new iPhone, I think 17. I don't know what number they're up to. I think it's 17. It's like the brightest iPhone there is. And if you try to dim that iPhone, it uses pulsed wave modulation, which is a weird term, but it just means that when you dim it, it flickers and pulses way more when you try to dim that light. And that's not great either, but it doesn't change the spectrum of light coming out of there. And it's this artificial light at night that's mostly saturated with blue light. And we have these receptors in our eye called melanopsin receptors that are designed to read the blue wavelength of light to tell us the time of day that we are in and to change our hormones, our hormonal mixture based on the time of day. So when we step outside in the morning and we see the sky and the sun, there's going to be blue light there. And that's going to tell our eye that it's daytime, and we should increase cortisol because we need to be awake and alert. And we should get rid of the melatonin because that's only a hormone that should be produced during the darkness to help with repair and rejuvenation while we sleep. There is a little bit of melatonin produced during the day due to infrared light to clean up free radicals and other toxins in our cells. But that's not the same thing that it's doing at night when it's conducting these 10 hormones. And by seeing blue light at night or artificial light at night, we're destroying that melatonin from being released in our body. And that is leading to this association in all of these papers and the American Medical Association and the NIH saying that cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and obesity are related to the disruption of circadian rhythm and then seeing this blue light at night from artificial light, which is all around us in our environment. So what the American Medical Association resolution said is that artificial light at night is a pollutant. It disrupts circadian rhythm, which can lead to these states of cancer, diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. And it stops the melatonin secretion, which is really important at night. It also, in this paper that was published, says that breast cancer and obesity are related to artificial light at night, and that LED lights, normal LED lights. Now I know you can buy red LED lights. We do have some on dreamwalkers.ai. We also have amber LED lights that are blue light free. But any LED light that you're going to buy at the store or on Amazon or wherever is more disruptive than an incandescent light. The old Edison type bulbs that we used to use that gave off a lot of heat. They're said to be inefficient because they do give off a lot of heat, but those incandescents are less disruptive to our circadian rhythm and melatonin after dark, but not completely perfect. So most modern LEDs are based on a blue light diode, so you get a lot of blue light in them. That disrupts your circadian rhythm and your melatonin. Even incandescent and halogen have too much blue, and they do disrupt your circadian rhythm. Not as much as an LED, but it's still not perfect. You should be seeing candlelight or firelight at night or darkness, and that's it, and that's after the sun sets. Since not all of us are going to light with candles, you can mimic firelight or candlelight by wearing a pair of blue light blocking glasses, right? So you can get those for men on PrimalHacker.com and for women on dreamwalkers.ai. Those are our designed, tested blue light blocking glasses to mimic firelight and to make sure that you eliminate blue light at night so that you don't have these associations from your light environment to modern disease states. So this article that was published was really in the conclusion. Like if you read through the whole article, it talks about how circadian rhythm and circadian dysregulation and clock genes and all these things work. And at the end, they say we can use this artificial light at night and these circadian genes to monitor whether people are going to potentially get breast cancer. I would have thought the article would have said, so because we know artificial light at night is associated with all of these things, that you should do the following. Use darkness after sunset so that we don't turn these genes, modify these epigenetic genes. Your epigenetics is your environment. So your environment turns genes on and off. It should have said, once the sun sets, we should see darkness or firelight. If you can't use darkness and firelight after the sun sets because it's 4:30 p.m. in Wisconsin or Minnesota and it's dark and you probably aren't going to go to bed yet, then put on a pair of blue light blocking glasses. And they do mention that there are glasses and that this blue frequency of light is what's causing a lot of these problems, that you can block that blue light from ever reaching your eye, and you can then not have a problem with the artificial light at night. Also, they state that shift work is a real problem, and in fact, the World Health Organization has listed shift work as a probable human carcinogen. That's a big deal. If you're a shift worker, find a way to change what you do. Or if you can't, try to find a way to be, like 3 months on and 3 months on a normal shift so you can have that time to regulate. And if you really can't do any of that, I mean, it's not ideal. You're going against your biology. There's some things you can do to mitigate third shift work. It's not perfect, but you can do some things to mitigate it. We'll have a video up on the channel that has everything that we know of to mitigate the massive problems associated with third shift work and kind of how you can mitigate as much as possible using a whole bunch of medical doctor advice that have studied sleep and artificial light at night, which many medical doctors have not. Some have. They've written books and or taught online and had courses, etc. And we have learned from those, and we can put that together for all of you third shift workers. Although the best thing to do is to not work third shift. So ultimately, what can you do? And what the article should have said is get outside first thing within 30 minutes of sunrise, because that sets your circadian rhythm for the day. Your phone is not the way to set your circadian rhythm. Looking at your phone first thing in the morning is not the move. Wear your blue light blocking glasses if it's still dark outside in the morning. Get outside within 30 minutes of sunrise. It's going to set your circadian rhythm. It's going to turn your hormones on for the day, and it's going to set your melatonin clock for 16 hours later. Otherwise, if you're getting out at noon because you're sleeping in super late, now your melatonin clock is set for 16 hours from noon. What's that, like 4 in the morning or something like that? That is not the right time if you're getting up at 6 for you to have melatonin come online, because now you missed the whole night's melatonin dose. That's your body's most potent antioxidant and helps us repair and rejuvenate. See the sunrise. Get outside with no glasses, sunglasses, or contacts when you first get outside. You can wear them later, but getting that first dose of sunlight in your eye, you do not have to stare directly at the sun. Just being outside, even if you can't see the sun, is getting that light in your eye and setting your circadian rhythm for the day. Next, get outside often during the day. Don't spend 95% of your time indoors like most of us do. Most people in the United States spend 95% plus of their time indoors under artificial alien light. And finally, at night, and that just means when the sun sets. So sometimes during the year, the sun sets at 4:30 or 5 p.m. And sometimes the sun sets at 9 p.m. So there's no like, do this every day at 7. It's do this every day when the sun sets. And that is to experience darkness so that your body can produce melatonin. We experience darkness based on how our biology is built by the absence of blue light. So you can use blue light-free lighting in your home. You can use firelight or candles. Or you can just put on a pair of blue light blocking glasses, which block the blue from ever getting to your eyes. That will help your body understand the time of the year, the time of the day, and when to start releasing melatonin to heal your body. So in conclusion, this whole article was written about breast cancer and obesity and its relation to exposure to artificial light at night. And in fact, the way that you can mitigate some of those things are to get outside in the morning first thing and to wear a pair of blue light blocking glasses at night, the two very easiest things that everybody can do anywhere to help you avoid some of those consequences.